Well, welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome you guys to the Library of Congress's National Book Festival. We're thrilled to have you here at the Discovery stage. I also want to welcome all of our viewers online and around the world. We're so glad that everyone can be with us here today. I'm Antonio Williams, and I am the chair of the District of Columbia Public Library Board of Trustees. DC Public Library is a proud partner with the Library of Congress and with the National Book Festival. DC Public Library is the center for the book in DC, and we're very proud of that fact. DCPL is deeply invested in access to reading for young children. For example, through our Books from Birth program, more than 80,000 of our youngest residents, including both of my children, have been able to receive one book a month from the age of birth till they're 5 years old. You know, I like to think about the possibilities that this opens, the possibilities to explore diverse cultures, the ability to think about and experience stories that mirror their own lives, and open doors to imagine what they can aspire to. As our young people grow, we actually invite them then to participate in what we call our Beyond the Book program. That program helps to reinforce the love of reading that they've developed with amazing in-library programming and experiences. Our goal at DCPL is simple. We want children to see reading as a tool that shapes them into well-rounded, empathetic individuals, not just seeing themselves, but about understanding others and dreaming big. It's our commitment at DC Public Library that it's not just about the library, it's about building community, a community that sees the world and their power to shape it. On behalf of the Library of Congress, I do want to mention that if you do see a survey taker, however, please take that survey. The Library of Congress is very interested in hearing from each of you and incorporating your thoughts into future national book festivals. And with that, let me get to our event at hand. Our first event on this stage is titled, "The World is a Big Place for Little Creatures," and I certainly think that that is the case. We are happy to feature Doug Salati. He is the author and illustrator of the Caldecott medal-winning picture book, Hot Dog, among many others. Lane Smith. Lane Smith received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Society of Illustrators and has received the Caldecott Honor twice. His brand new book, Stickler Loves the World. And then our moderator is Juanita Giles. And she is the founder and executive director of the Virginia Children's Book Festival. She's a lifelong lover of books. Giles is passionate and forceful advocate for access and diversity in storytelling. So with that, thank you all for joining us at the Discovery stage, and let's welcome our three presenters. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess it's on. Is this on?
It's
magic.
It is.
Well, I want to say, first of all, I see parents and caregivers with children, and it is 9:10 in the morning. So congratulations. Very good. Very good. I hope everybody had breakfast. Did you have breakfast? Did you have breakfast? Oh, good. I can tell you that Mr. Lane here had oatmeal for breakfast.
I did.
He had oatmeal for breakfast.
I didn't get the memo that you'd be serving breakfast to everyone today.
I'm not serving breakfast. You have to serve lunch afterwards.
Okay.
That's your job. So if you're here, then I guess you know that these two guys are kind of impressive. There are three Caldecotts up here among us, and I am the third one without a Caldecott. So again, that tells you, I'll get mine later. Okay. I'll borrow one of yours. But their newest books, as you may know already, Stickler Loves the World, is not out yet, August 23rd. Is that
right.
correct?
Yep.
August 23rd. That's Lane's latest book. And then, of course, Hot Dog is Doug's book that won the Caldecott this year. And I have a couple of questions for y'all before we just talk, because y'all, we've been talking all morning. They're pretty funny guys. How creepy did you want to make Stickler?
Oh, creepy.
That's my first question. Does anybody out there think he's a little creepy? A little creepy? Yeah, a little creepy? Yeah.
No,
yeah.
That's true, because I like characters that are maybe not what you'd expect to be. Normally if you had a book like this with a character that's so joyous, it would be a little kitten or a sparkly unicorn or something. So I like that the expectations are flipped. And in fact, when I start the book, you sort of see all these shadowy, strange creatures. And then the fog lifts, and all the other creatures are just normal, birds and squirrels, but Stickler's still kind of an odd guy. But then you quickly learn that it's a happy little Stickler.
So how did Stickler develop?
Well, I did a book last year called A Gift for Nana. Most people say Nana, but we always said Nana to my mom. And that was, and Stickler made an appearance in that book, only on one page. But I just couldn't get the character out of my head, and I found myself, drawing Stickler in people's books when I would sign the other book. And so eventually, the story sort of built, and now it's got its own book.
Are you also prepared for kids to put googly eyes all through the book?
Yes, I am.
Because has anyone seen the inside of this book? It is ready for googly eyes on every page, so I'm just telling you, get your googly eyes ready.
Well, Stickler's eyes change, and if it gets more excited, he'll go from, or it'll go, he's a it, from 3 eyes to 8 eyes, then back to 2 eyes.
The good news is you can get a variety pack.
Yes.
Googly eyes, variety of sizes, and you can get 300 of them in a pack. So
I'm glad, Juanita, you're putting that idea in kids' heads
Yes.
so that they will destroy their books.
Well, then they have to buy more than one.
Oh, there you go.
See? There you go.
Or just do it in library books.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I'm gonna move on to. Y'all, we're gonna try to keep it together. We have really been misbehaving this morning. I'll tell you, we're gonna try. So, Doug.
Yes.
Do you own a dachshund?
No. I don't know if I should be admitting this in such a formal setting, but even I always wanted a dog as a kid, and begged my parents to get one, and we tried one, it didn't work out.
Oh,
we
no.
tried another, it didn't work out. We were too busy, my parents ended up taking care of the dog. So, and as an adult, I have never fulfilled that. But I live in New York City, and it's constant people and dog watching. And I feel like that, the people in the book, the dog, hot dog, that is kind of where it all started.
So this book is not just to make your parents feel bad that you didn't have a dog when you were a kid?
They're very happy now
Okay.
that I found success with dogs.
I'll bet, yeah.
Is there one particular dachshund that lives
Yeah.
near you that
There-
inspired this book?
About 10 years ago, it was now, I guess 11 years ago, this time, August, I went out from New York, which can be pretty steamy in August, and took the train, took the Long Island Railroad, took the shuttle bus, took a ferry boat out to Fire Island, which is this small barrier island. And the friend that I was with, they owned this dachshund.
Oh.
And it was meeting that dog and seeing how thrilled the dog was to be out on the beach, to be off leash. You know that feeling, right? Of just letting the wind run through your hair, all of that stuff, right? He was just so happy. And I think I was having some parallel feelings of escaping the city. So that's where it kind of started.
It's so funny because as a dog owner, you nailed it.
You heard it here.
That's true.
That's true.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So did they know that their dog is famous?
Oh yeah, yep. And lucky me, one of the owners is a photographer. So the dog, Charlie, was the original dog, and then Charlie's, not predecessors, but the dogs that came after Charlie, Lou and Ted, are also dachshunds, and they're very well documented. So I had 3 different models that I used for the dogs. Yeah.
People who have dachshunds are very dedicated to the breed.
They are, yes, I've learned that.
Yes, one after the other.
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a little Shih Tzu named Jojo. And I have a cat named Lulu who likes to attack Jojo.
Yeah.
You also seem to like vowels a lot.
I have 3 vowels.
I know, it's true. So one of the things that I love about Hot Dog is it reminds me of one of my favorite childhood books, not in theme or anything, but Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs, because every time you open that book, you see something new. Even as an adult, I'm always finding, when the lady's teeth are coming out of her mouth, biting the hot dog and things like that. So is that intentional for you, or are you just, do you hide any Easter eggs in here?
Sure, there's lots of
Tell us
things.
some secrets.
I think part of it is that New York City is more is more. There's just when you step outside, it's kind of a visual assault, of everything going on all the time, all at once. So I feel like that just had to be in the book because that's kind of the city it was based on.
And that's hard to do, to put that much stuff in there and not have it be a mess. And
Yeah.
the thing that's beautiful about this book is it's every page is alive, not just with the characters, but the sky is animated and the waves are going and the fur, it's like it's animated. It's like
Everything's
it's moving.
moving. Yeah,
it's
thank
cool.
you. Yeah.
Are you trying to pitch a show? A show. And then hot dog is turned into a show.
Netflix.
That's right. Netflix, anyone?
It's the best.
So I did want to ask y'all, both of you are telling your stories not with a child character. And that is, that always seems to me a very deliberate choice. What is it that you think about having characters that are not even human, really, does for kids? What do you think that does for kids?
Well, for me, selfishly, I just like to draw animals more than kids. Or creatures and imbue them with childlike personalities. So that's more fun. I've done a lot of books with human characters, but I always like drawing Stinky Cheese Man or Stickler or Gappers. I just like I don't know. It's just what I gravitate towards. How about you?
I think it's easy. When I was a kid, my favorite thing was to pretend that I was something else, and so I feel like with Hot Dog, I was just thinking, oh, I'm the dog, and I'm his companion, and I don't know, I didn't think of it. I think you can look at the characters and see them as stand-ins for kids easily, right? So I think that's part of the fun, I guess, for me.
Doug, can you tell us more about your multiple personalities?
Well, Lane.
I thought you were going to say, I like to pretend that I have a dog. I thought that's what you were going to say. I like to pretend that I have a dog, ever since you were little. So I'll say, I came up here from Farmville, Virginia, which is I don't know if anybody knows where Farmville is. It's sort of smack in the middle of Virginia. And I do not drive on 95. I won't do it. And I won't ride on it either, okay? It's not going to happen. So we took the train from Richmond, which is a drive in and of itself. I don't know if you've gone through Richmond to get to the train station. You have about 30 feet to cross 4 lanes of 64 to get to the exit. It's nerve-wracking. And so I had these books with me, and I thought, I'm really going to have to go over these again and make sure I have poignant questions, which I'm not going to have. I'm sorry. If you have one, you're going to ask it in just a couple minutes. But there was a family there at the train station with a young child, maybe about 3 years old, who was very antsy to get on the train. And I turned to the family and, like the creeper that I am, said, can I bother you for a second? I have 2 children's books. I'd love to watch your son look at these children's books. And they said absolutely. They were thrilled that I had something to distract them. Yes, exactly. And so they read both of these books to their little son. And he was so enamored. And he wanted to talk all about his own dog, Sophie. I learned her name. And I said, is she a big dog? And he said, very big. And the mom said, the dog is like this. But to him, it's a very big dog.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And Stickler, my kids are a little older, so I wanted to see how a little child reacted to this. Loved Stickler. I'm not scared at all. So I would have been like, can I sleep with the light on tonight after this, after I had read it? But I was so excited to see the kids' reaction. ever do that when you're writing your books? Do you have friends with children or anything where you try it out on them before you say, okay, this is it? Or do you trust your own gut instincts?
You know, I don't know if I share it with a small group of friends, you know, and one of my studio mates, Robot Watkins, I had this version of Hot Dog where the dog just ran away from his owner. The first version was not a story, it was just sketches of him going to the city, going to the beach, coming back. Not a good story, right? But so then I thought, what else is happening here? And Robot, who is a dog owner, the dog comes to the studio. He thought, you know, what kind of dog would do that to its owner, you know? And I thought, oh, I've struck a chord here, you know? So then I started thinking more about that relationship, that friendship, and so that completely changed the book, you know, what it ended up being, getting that kind of feedback from him or that point of view, yeah.
I'm the same deal. I don't have children of my own, but I've been doing this for, 35 years, so I have friends I can rely on. So I showed this to Laurie Keller and Bob Shea, and sometimes you get so into your own work, you miss the most obvious things, you know, and Laurie will say, well, what's going on here, you know, and so I have good friends I could run stuff by, and a lot of times they'll give you a great idea, but you don't use that idea, but it sparks something, or you think, well, if they're confused on this page, then something's confusing. But I think there are almost two different types of children's book writers. There are the types who go to classrooms and maybe write for current kids, and then there are the kinds that are just perpetually stuck in their own childhood and reliving their own childhood. I love nothing more than just making the book. You know, it's just the act of painting and writing and sitting in my little barn in Connecticut. It's just like a wonderful pandemic that never ends.
I was going to say there are people to help you with that. You know, if you know, they get paid to help you work through being stuck in your own childhood. But that's good. I didn't know. I was wondering. Actually, I was going to say, does this mean that you're one of those people you have to get a T-shirt that says "I'll take the chicken nuggets"? Have you ever seen those for grown-ups? Like, I'll just take the chicken nuggets for people who are perpetually stuck in their own childhood. I'll get you one of those.
No, I want one.
So I see that we're having to wrap up. We have 2 minutes left.
No
and
way.
So I know. And so I'm sure that somebody out there has questions for Lane or Doug. Does anybody have questions for Lane or Doug? Oh, I see hands everywhere. So let's see. Let's do this one over here.
I'm an art teacher, elementary age. How would you convince young artists that there is a future career in children's book illustration? Was that your trajectory, or did you begin as doing adult?
Did y'all hear her? So she's an art teacher, and she wanted to know how they would encourage children to become illustrators themselves.
I feel like I'm here because of amazing teachers, art teachers, drama teachers, course teachers, everything. So it's so important, first of all, right? And thank you. And I feel like there's that certain age where you start to feel like, oh, you have to draw this certain way for it to be good, right? Or a good type of art making. And I feel like, and that happens to all of us, I think that's a natural progression. But if there's a way to kind of keep that other channel open of just exploration, experimentation, and not really judging it as a good and bad thing, if kids are able to do that or to help them to do that, I think that's so important, you know, because you don't know where that type of storytelling is going to lead, and they're naturals, right? When you're young.
And that, you know, children's books weren't as big as they are now. When I was a kid, it wasn't really an option. But like you, I was in high school, and my art, I never knew you could even make a career in any kind of art, but I had a fantastic art teacher, Mr. Bothman, and he encouraged me, and he personally drove me to an art school and got me an appointment with a counselor and got me in that school, and it just changed. I was the first person in my family to go to college. You know, oh, you're going to be a doctor? No, I'm going to be an illustrator. but it completely changed my life. But I agree with Doug. I remember when I was at Arts Center, they were saying, now this is a Maserati and this is an airbrush, and you're going to paint that to look just like that. And I'm drawing, big heads and little bodies, and like I did in elementary school, you sort of lose that. But if you could retain that, then you may have a career in children's books.
Yes, ma'am.
Susan Oliver, and I'm a new teacher in Fairfax County, and I was delighted to see that they have a huge section at Edison High School of children's books, and they do try to encourage that. But I was curious, what was the children's book that you most loved as a child, and how did that influence you as a children's book writer?
So she just asked what were their favorite children's books as a child and how that influences them.
Well, I'm old, so when I was a kid, probably did the stickler, we just played with a stick. We didn't really have that many. I don't remember kids' books. Now, kids are blessed to, there are children's book libraries and stores. We didn't really have that, so my education with kids' books really came when I was in art school, and definitely Where the Wild Things Are. I love Swimmy. That was a big influence, all the story and the textures. And anything by William Steig, those are my biggies.
Yeah, all the same. And I feel like my sister and I really, she started almost drawing. We read Trina Shard-Hyman's books so much that she almost started drawing, right? Like her, it really sunk in. I think, the books that really pulled you in, kept you in that through line, and then kind of popped you back out at the end, right? They were as satisfying as watching a movie or going to see, a live performance. That ability to just hold your attention, make you want to turn that page. I mean, that's, I think, a goal for any bookmaker.
Better than a movie.
Better than a movie.
Because you're in your own head.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have time for one more question right down here. Right there? Yes.
Why is the dog called hot dog if it's not a hot dog?
Best question all day. Why'd you do that?
That is a great question. Why is the dog called hot dog if it's not a hot dog? I think because hot dog is a hot in temperature dog, and he's kind of long and skinny like the hot dog food. So between those two things, that's why I call them hot dogs.
Dachshunds are called wiener dogs. Did you know that? And wieners it's another word for hot dog. So you really, again, as you say, there's a pun in there. That's what you said before.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you both so much.